So the last thing in this chapter that I want to talk about is how this React application is using style sheets. We can see two of them right here, one called app.css and the other called index.css. I want to start with the index.css file. Now this would typically be your global style sheet, which would be used to hold some basic reset styles and styles for common elements or classes that are used in many different places in your application. For example, heading styles, button styles, that kind of thing. You can see that currently this file only contains a couple of selectors. This index.css file is then imported into the index.js file, the file that kickstarts the React application. When it's imported like this, the CSS is effectively injected into a style tag on the HTML page. I'm going to show you this. So if we open up the DevTools by hitting F12 and then go into the Elements tab, and then if we go up to the head tag and open that, we have to scroll down a bit inside the head, and then we should see this style tag. And if we open that up, we can see the body and the code selector, which is what was in that index.css file. So we treat that CSS file, like I said, as a global CSS file for our entire website. Below this style tag, you're going to also see another style tag as well. If we open this one up, we'll see some extra styles targeting the app class and some other elements too. These styles are coming from a different style sheet in our application, the app.css one. So back in our project, we can open up the CSS file and we can see all of those same selectors in here. And if we take a look inside our app.js file, we can see that at the top it imports the app CSS file. And when it does this, those styles, just like with the other style sheet, are injected into the head of the HTML page. So this is a couple of places now that we can add our styles, either in a global style sheet or a component specific style sheet. But why not just put them all in one place instead? Well, when we split our CS up, it keeps it more modular and easier to manage, especially as your application gets larger and you start adding more and more components, because for each of those components you could make a style sheet just to style that component, and then you're keeping all of your styles in modular parts for each section of your website, which is going to make it much easier to update in the long run. And it also means that you're not going to have just one gigantic style sheet which becomes really messy and hard to update. Now, just quickly, I do want to mention that even component-specific CSS files are also treated as global styles. They're placed in the head of the HTML document so they can apply styles to anything or any component on the page. For now, when we're only using one single component, the app component, this doesn't matter so much. But later on, when we start working with more components, it will become important. And in fact, there's going to be a whole chapter on how to style our React applications later in the course. And in that, I'll discuss how to get around this. For now, though, just knowing that we can use different style sheets in these different ways is enough to get us up and running.